Hello friends. Alright, today's video is going to be on a Euro USD session I had this morning. I've had a lot of people in the group ask me about some paper trading or some recording of trades, and it's funny because of how quickly I trade on the 1 minute. It's very difficult to record every trade. Sometimes I'm not even thinking about recording when I take these trades. But today, what I ended up doing is I thought the next best thing would be when I sit down at the charts is I will just have a paper trading session in TradingView as well as obviously in my live account, but it's easier to show the trades in TradingView, and I can record them all in the paper trading area of TradingView. And I think this will be beneficial to some of you, hopefully all of you. It's kind of a second part, I guess, to yesterday's video in the group where I was talking about lower time frame and how to demystify the lower time frame. And this is kind of exactly what I showed in that video and how I approach the markets pretty much every day. And the difference between maybe how I trade and how a lot of you trade is that I'm looking at the overall higher time frame market direction, and I tend to look at the 15-minute POIs from a mitigation story because I'm trading such low time frames that the 15-minute for me is almost like someone trading the 5-minute using the 1 hour time frame, or a 15-minute someone using the 4 hour time frame to get their bias. Okay, and so we're just going to go into this. We're going to look at the trades, and hopefully this is helpful for some of you. So the thing that I noticed first, guys, when I woke up this morning is I saw how massively Euro USD was rallying. And obviously, I think I've talked to a couple people in the group today, is that there's an ADR, right? There's an average daily range typically for every pair, and we were starting to approach that very rapidly for EU, which means it's going to stall out and it's going to start to consolidate, and it's probably going to have a retracement, which is fine with me based on how I trade. And so I had actually a couple POIs that I was interested in when I first woke up, getting my coffee and stuff. One was this POI here, unmitigated OB top, and then the other POI I had here was my buy to sell candle prior to the extreme OB up here. And I've mentioned to you guys in the past, like, why am I interested in these? Is because these are supply areas on the lower time frames that are drop-based drop formations that were able to take out demand. So that's buyer-seller interaction, and price never mitigated it. So I felt like we'd probably get some sort of mitigation, and we'd be able to take some trades in there. So those were my two POIs, and the first one, we did have some reactions. I was taking coffee, so this was 6 a.m. I didn't get a trade in here, but you can see there was actually some trades. Again, that's 24 pips. So for a guy like myself on the 15-second, 30-second, there's absolutely trades in there. But price ended up rallying and going higher. And what do we start to see? So what do we start to see form is price is starting to bounce off the supply and demand here. So it's going up, bounced, up, down. And that's all well and good for someone like myself, again, trading the lower time frame. Now, there was definitely buys in here. I didn't take buys. I should have or could have, but I was pretty heavy my bias was pretty heavy on the sell because of how high we're up in Euro USD this morning. I felt like sells were more probable, but again, there's some hedging opportunities here that we could have had, and I'll explain those in a bit. So what do we end up doing here is I drop down to the 1 minute, 30-second, 15-second, guys, and I'm just monitoring price. Okay, so we drop down to the 1 minute and we just start monitoring price. Now again, I'm dropping down to the 1 minute, 30-second, etc. So the first thing I noticed, guys, is these POIs on the 1 minute. Okay, so let me just take some of this stuff off. So what do we notice here? Again, like we talked about yesterday, this is a POI for me. We do have unmitigated imbalance here. This was responsible for taking out this demand, so I was definitely interested in this as a POI. And my other POI was this fair value gap right here. And then I did have the extreme as my other POI for sells. Okay, so those are my first 3 POIs if I'm looking at the charts exactly like this. Okay, so again, excuse all this stuff. We're going to go through these trades, but this is what this is when I started monitoring. It was actually kind of like this. This is when I started monitoring price. So what am I doing, guys? First, we reset the paper trading account. Now, I reset it yesterday, and I don't recall, but there was a random trade here. So this was not from today. But it kind of doesn't matter. It worked out that my first trade was a loss that I forgot to record. So I used a 1% risk. So it's basically about the same thing. So it doesn't really matter. Every other trade is from today. So what do we have? So I dropped down to the 15-second, you guys. I think this one was actually a risk entry I took. This was a risk entry. And price comes into it. Just double checking. There might have been a chalk here on the 15-second. Yeah, this one actually was a risk entry, and I did enter right here. I did enter right there. 2.3 pip stop loss. Again, so for people wondering, like, how do I enter this on the and MetaTrader? When I see price come up here, okay, I'm watching this on the 15-second in trading view, okay, and I am actively watching it on my broker, and then I will market execute, and I'll grab my stop loss and I'll put it above the high of this candle, okay. That's how I'm doing it. And then I'm monitoring, obviously, spread. Like if spread was high, like right now spread was not high, it was 0.2 pips. So 2.4 pip stop loss is more than enough for this trade at 0.2 pips in the morning. So that's how I'm doing it, you guys. I'm just market executing, and then I'm dragging my TPs, and I'm monitoring how the trade's going, you guys. My TPs kind of fluctuate. I don't set them here, just leave them. I will monitor price because I'm trading the 15-second. And again, I'm looking for 1 to 3 to 1 to kind of, I would say 5 on average as a trade when I'm trading like this. Because on the 15-second, you can easily get a lot of 1 to 3s and your profits start growing pretty quickly, okay? So in this case here, price did have a really nice reaction, but it only got to 1 to 2, and then we got taken out here, okay? So this one here ends up getting taken out, no big deal. And then the next POI, guys, it was that fair value gap, okay? So on my charts, I was looking for this fair value gap. Now, the actual POI was this here. It was the buy to sell candle that was responsible for the break of this structure, okay? This is where buyers and sellers fought for control. I'm just going to clean these up, guys, as we go. Buyers and sellers fought for control. Sellers took over and created imbalance from this V-shaped structure. So we've talked about this many times. I'm looking for like V-shaped structures that leave imbalance that are not mitigated. This has not been mitigated whatsoever. And this one actually we waited for confirmation. So in this case here, I actually missed the top of this trade, which was frustrating. I didn't pull the trigger in time, and then it kind of left. So I was looking for this. Well, I was looking for a better chalk. On the 5-second, there was a chalk, and I didn't get it here on the 15-second, and that's why I didn't actually enter that. Sorry, it's been a couple hours since I looked at this, but that's why I didn't enter that. But this is the continuation pattern we talked about, guys, in the last video is why I entered this one. So let's go here, and what do we have? Okay, remember, we're looking for buyer-seller interaction that wants to break supply and take out liquidity. So this had a really nice reaction. It took out the liquidity. You could have looked for this one. However, this obviously has much more imbalance in it. So my POI, you guys, was this. And I entered here at 50% of the POI with a 2 pip stop loss. Okay, so let's just play through price. Price came back in, tapped us in, and that was this trade here. Okay, so the $3,700 trade at 934. So right here. Okay, and that was that trade there. And then my target again was the gap here, and again you have a rally-based rally that took out the liquidity. So I could have probably bought. I'm pretty sure there was a chalk here, but I did not buy. So I'm pretty sure there was a chalk. I don't think it came and mitigated it though. That would have been, yeah, there wasn't really a good entry there. But you can see how important that area was to price, and price ended up just rallying higher. Now, this one I was interested in here because this is an order block, you guys. This area here is supply that took out this low. So I was interested in a trade here, and I wanted to wait for, this was my POI, you guys, right here. You can see. So let's just drag this over. That was my POI. And I was waiting for some sort of chalk, and we got a nice chalk, and then I entered right there. So it came and tapped me in. Okay, 1.4. It was 2.5 pip. Stop. And this one was a loss, and that's fine. That can happen. It's not a big deal. So that trade here was, this was a dummy trade. Accidentally entered the market with a sell, and I had to get out because TradingView, guys, on paper trading doesn't let you stack orders. So that's why you can't really trade nicely on it. But that was this loss here, okay? And this was a 0.5% risk, not a 1% risk. Okay, so price keeps coming up. We take out the liquidity of this high, and then remember, we had another fair value gap here, okay? We had another, let me just clean up some of this stuff here. We had another fair value gap with imbalance right there, okay? So I was interested in a potential sell. And again, what am I waiting for, you guys? We're waiting for some sort of chalk. So we had a rejection. It did break the demand. We did take liquidity, and we did fill some of the imbalance. So again, I'm just taking these. The edge that I have in the back testing and the testing of the strategy has allowed me to feel confident taking these trades, because I will have a few losses, that's fine, but the winners will most likely take out the losses. And sometimes if I have 2 or 3 losses for a day, guys, I'll just be done for the day. It's not a big deal, right? We're just managing our risk, and we're trying to find edges in the market, right? So this one was a 0.3% risk. Again, because the chalk was not very clear, but you know what? I'm okay with it. We're up on the day. We've had 2 losses and 1 really nice win, so we're up on the day. So I'm comfortable with. So I'm just going to remove this supply. I'm comfortable with this trade, and again, price ends up having a nice reaction. Now, this is something I tell people in the group. Like, I put a 2.5 pip stop loss. We need to make sure that if the candles get mitigated, 100%. That my spread is not going to take me out, okay? So in this case, spread was low during New York session, so this is not going to take you out based on where I'm putting it. Now, if spread was like 0.6, 0.7, then sure, I'd have to raise my risk to 3 pip stop loss or something like that, right? So I'm actively doing this kind of stuff instantly and very, very quickly. I use ANZ EA. I hit the sell now. I quickly drag my stop loss. Boom, we execute the trade. We're in. We're done. Okay. So in this case here, 0.3% risk. And again, my target for this POI, you guys, was first TP break even on this liquidity here. And then the other one was these relative equal lows down here coming back into some sort of demand area. So that's what we ended up taking that trade. So we partial, and then we come out here, and we hit TP. And that trade resulted in this gain here. So just under $2,000 due to partialing. So that was a really nice trade. And again, right, like execution time, 9:57, a closing time. When did I enter? I must have entered right Oh, that's time when it closes. Yeah, right there. So right there is where I exited, you guys, like that. So that's all good. Okay, and this is where we could have taken a buy, honestly. I don't know what I was thinking. This was a really nice demand area. We end up getting a really nice chalk. So we take out the low, take out the high. We definitely could have bought right here. We did not. And this one actually ended up being a loss. So this one, guys, I was interested. Again, I was heavily biased on the sells today. And sometimes you got to learn to flip your mindset, because this buy would have been way better than these two losses that I'm about to describe. But again, what do we have? This is a drop-based drop on the 32nd. Okay, so drop-based drop that took out the liquidity. So I was looking for a chalk. We did get a chalk. And again, I'm looking to take out this liquidity here. This resulted in some consolidation. I was hopeful for a bit, but then I started seeing demand holding, and I figured this one was going to lose. And we did end up losing. And that was this loss right here. Okay, 1046 got taken out. That was 0.5% risk. Okay. All right, and what do we have again? I'm interested in this POI, you guys, here. Again, drop-based drop that takes out liquidity. So from if you think about higher time frame move, I'm looking for something like this, right? I'm looking for something like that. I think actually this one went and I partialed out. No, this one was a loss. So we do have a chalk, you guys. Again, I'm looking for 100% mitigation at this point. So I was looking at the top of the candle. I wanted to cover the unmitigated whole candle here. That's why I did this. And this was actually a little higher. And this one ended up resulting in a loss. And that's this trade here. Okay, so 1105 got taken out. That trade there. Okay. So let's keep stepping through price. And again, now we're coming back into our extreme POI. Okay, so I'm definitely interested in to see what price gives me inside of this POI. And what do we have? Price gives us a nice chalk. We execute right there. That was my trade. 2.5 pip stop. I didn't cover the high on this case. I didn't feel like price would mitigate the entire candle. I took a bit of a risk because I wanted a bit more RR. I could have covered the high like that. I did not. In this case here, this one was 0.5% risk. Now, this one I could have held much longer. I'll be honest. This one I got a little chicken. I had a really nice session for the day. So actually, I exited here. I believed that this would come and mitigate this low, and it did. I should have held. I really should have held. This was 1 to 10 basically, but I didn't. Price rallied. It had a nice drop-based drop there. I got out here, and that trade was $1,500 at 0.5% risk for my 4% for the day. Now, if I would have held, I should have just partialed here and just let the sucker run. I didn't. Like I said, I chickened out here. And anyway, what do we talk about again? Drop-based drop, you guys, on the 1 minute. Drop-based drop that takes out liquidity. There was another entry there. I didn't take it. Again, I was happy with my session. I try and tell people don't get greedy, yet the way I trade, you guys, there's so many opportunities that some days it's hard to stop. Today I just had to be cognizant of that I was trading, that I wanted to record this and show people, so I didn't want to get greedy and do something stupid. So again, what do we have here to you guys? This is a buy to sell reaction zone that took out this demand. Okay, there was definitely a trade there on the lower time frame. I don't think it got wiped out. Can't recall. So that ends up coming to take it out. I think it takes out the low. No. Well, I mean, I would have done something like this. I can't remember. I did not take this trade, just FYI. I would have done something like that. And then again, I would be targeting the low. And this one I think did actually work out. No, that would have got taken out, but I didn't take that trade. This was my, you can see I can't scroll up anymore. That was my last trade. So I took one trade. I'm going to count this trade even though it's from a different day because I did not record the first loss I took. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, guys, with 4% gain. And then I did take another trade that I did not record in MetaTrader, or sorry, in TradingView. Again, we're trading, you guys, between I'm trading between supply and demand that's taking out highs and lows. And then again, I'm using my confirmation of my chalk on the lower time frame to get really nice opportunities. And price ended up coming down here into my demand region. Okay, again, I like to sit just on the 15-second and watch this stuff because to me it's just night and day. So what do we have here, guys? We took out the low, we took out the high. Boom, chalk, enter, and off we go. So another 1 to 5 right there. Okay, so guys, this is the session. This is how I trade. I'm not saying everyone has to trade this way by any means. This is just how I trade. It's how I see the market. I like to flow between supply and demand. I like to look for interaction areas between buyers and sellers that take out supply and demand because those are the areas that will have some sort of reaction. So I don't know, like in this area here, it's already been mitigated, but look at that. That's what price is. And again, if your POI, you guys, with your chalk right there, is this zone here with your stop 2.5 pips, you're in that market. I don't know what the spread is right now. Could be a little higher because it's the afternoon. I wouldn't be trading, sorry. I would not be trading right now. It's 2 o'clock. The spreads would be absolutely atrocious. So you'd probably need some sort of stop loss like that. But you get the point of seeing how powerful this can be as we're flowing through price. Oh yeah, look at that spread. That's massive. I hope this video is helpful. This is how I trade every day. Obviously, for folks who want to trade higher time frames, you just need to flow with price in a different time frame. So I would say for people, quite frankly, if you're on the 5-minute chart, then you need to be flowing with price on the 1 hour. And you can look for your buys and sells inside of these zones. What do we have here, right? This is a 2-hour sell to buy candle, right? So this is your POI on the 5-minute. You can go down here to the 5-minute, and then you can be looking for, your chalk. And what do we have here? So price came down. We do have a chalk. That would have been a nice buy. Price came back in here. Oh, there's a chalk on the lower time frame, that for sure. Right there. Okay, so low taken out, high taken out. Boom, chalk, buy. And that would have been a huge RR trade. Look at that thing, like massive RR trade, guys. If you're using the 1 hour POIs with the 5-minute time frame, these things happen every single day. You just need to flow with price and practice this stuff because it's really not complicated. What we're doing here is just learning. I'm trying to teach you guys learning to flow with price so that you can understand why these trades work. And in situations like this where I take a loss, that's fine. But we had a really nice buy to sell. That's a perfectly valid zone. It just, price wanted to mitigate higher. No big deal. It's just risking, it's just managing your risk and flowing with price. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll answer them obviously in the group community. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. This was this session started and finished for me in 4 hours for the morning at 4% gain. I mean, I was 4% up actually, straight up, like after, I was 4% up after an hour, but these two losses brought me back down by 1%. So we ended up making it back up. But yeah, I mean, this is how I trade, you guys. I'll keep sending these videos out. I'll keep breaking down daily trades. And you know what? Maybe next time I will try and remember and record just the whole session. And we'll just see how a recorded session goes. Not every day's profitable, guys. Some days I lose 2 trades, 3 trades, and I'm done for the day, and we call it a day. Next day I might lose 2 and win 1, and we call it a day. Not every day is like this. But you can start to see that, the couple losses we took 7 trades. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually had 4 losses, you guys, on 7 trades, and we're still up 4%. And that's the beauty of these strategies, in my opinion, is that when you can flow with price, 1 or 2 trades is not a big deal to lose. We can always make those back if we keep our heads, if we stick to the strategy, and we don't get emotional about trading. So have a good day, guys, and I'll look forward to your comments in the community.